Welcome to Life, Finance, and Real Estate, where we discuss how to make smart money moves, the ever changing real estate market, and of course, things going on in life. And here to talk about it more with you is your host, Kirby the Realtor.
Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can sit and wait around. You can make it happen. I've been walking in the spirit. Ain't no way around it. And it's up. Yeah. And it's up. Yeah. Pedal to the metal, headed to the top. Swerving around the block, this be getting hot. It's so hot. The holy got a purpose, I can't ever stop. I got Lamborghini, mercy on me. I'm outside with the crew. Look at that, deja vu. Not with the trap, but I'm still on the move. Holy got the Holy Ghost, I'm jumping through the roof. I was down, but I stayed down, came up. God made a way. Stayed down, came up. God made a way. Stayed down, came up. God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can sit and wait around, or you can make it happen. I've been walking in the spirit. Ain't no way around it. Running in the spirit. And it's up.
Hey family. Welcome back to Life, Finance, and Real Estate with your girl, Kirby the Realtor. Listen, before we jump into today's show, I want to take a moment to recap what we talked about last week in episode 12 because I believe it was very powerful and insightful. Last week, we talked about procrastination and how it silently costs people money, opportunities, and sometimes even their future. We talked about how fear often disguises itself as procrastination. Sometimes people say they're waiting for the right time, the right moment, or the perfect situation. But the truth is, many times we delay actions because we are afraid of making a mistake. I shared a story about someone who said they struggled with procrastination, and someone asked them a very simple question. They said, if I told you that you would receive $1 million if you showed up every day at 5 a.m, would you be there? What do y'all think that answer was? Or do you remember what that answer was? The answer was yes, of course. So the reality was, in that moment, we realized that people don't actually have a procrastination part. Many times there's something deeper going on within. It could be fear, uncertainty, lack of knowledge, or simply not understanding the opportunity that is in front of them. And also, if it's not a reward attached to it, maybe the reward isn't great enough for them to act. We also talked about how standing still can cost you. Fear costs money when you delay learning. Fear costs money when you delay fixing your credit. Fear costs money when you delay investing. Fear also costs money when you delay buying property, buying buildings, buying whatever. Fear can cause delay and it can cost you money. When we talked about, what else? We also talked about something that really shifted the perspective of a lot of people. And that was understanding the value of $1. And if you missed last week's episode, you can replay it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all the various platforms, even YouTube. So you can go back and re-listen at it. But let me get back to it. Understanding the value of $1. But because when you truly understand that value of $1, it changes how you move. It really does. It changes. You stop wasting money. You stop wasting your time. You stop overlooking it, and you stop thinking small about it. Because $1, y'all, the value of $1. Do y'all remember when I broke down how you could spend $100, and if you make $25 an hour, if it costs you 4 hours just to make $100, and then you go buy something just because you don't feel happy and you want to make yourself feel good, and you go spend $100, you just spent 4 hours of your time. That is an example of what a value of $1 look like. You begin to realize that every dollar has an assignment. And if you're not telling your own money where to go, you will always be trying to figure out where it went. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. We also talked about how small amounts add up over time. What looks like just a few dollars today can turn into thousands tomorrow, depending on how you manage it. And when you understand that, You start making decisions differently. You start thinking long term instead of just right now. And we also talked about something very important in real estate. We talked about the fact that either you're gonna pay for a house one way or another. You're gonna pay for it by renting and you pay the mortgage for the landlord, or you gonna buy something and pay for it yourself? That is the real question. Are you paying your mortgage or are you paying your landlord's mortgage? Because every rent payment is building someone else's equity instead of your own. We closed the episode by talking about faith in action. The Bible tells us in James that faith without works is dead. And Proverbs remind us that though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Now, y'all, if you didn't catch that the last time, just listen. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. So what does that tell you? No matter what, if you fail, you just get back up and keep trying. Keep trying. You can fail, but keep trying. Keep trying, because if you don't try, you fail. You fail. But when you try and fail, you learn from the mistakes. You learn what not to do. You learn what to do better, and you try again. That is all, y'all. Faith requires movement. So that leads perfectly into today's conversation, because one of the biggest things that stops people from moving forward financially is what? Come on, give me one. It's their credit. Many people believe that if the credit is not perfect, the future is over. But that is simply not the truth. How many of y'all know that? Or if you're feeling like that right now, this episode is for you. But that brings me to today's topic. So before we jump into today's conversation, I want to take a moment to introduce, some very special guests. I cannot speak today, y'all. Something is wrong. But I want to introduce some very special guests. Today we're talking about something that impacts almost every area of financial life, and that is credit. Now listen, I want to start this conversation in a very honest place, because people believe that when you talk about credit problems, it means you have always struggled with it. But that is not always the case. Let me tell you what happened in my life. Listen, I need y'all to really hear me on this. This is very, very important to me. I've been through seasons where things were hard. They were very hard, where I had to figure things out the hard way, where I made mistakes, y'all, that I didn't even have to make if I had just had the right people in my corner, the right information. So when I put these calls together, when I bring people on, I'm not doing it just to be doing it. I'm not doing it for likes. I'm not doing it for an audience. I am doing it because I want to cut your learning curve. I want to put you in position where you don't have to go through what I went through. That's why I bring on experts. That's why I bring people I trust. That's why I bring people I personally work with. Because there are things out there that people just don't know. And sometimes what we don't know can cost us. And one thing I believe with everything in me is this: some mistakes you just shouldn't have to learn the hard way. Some situations are avoidable. Some pain is unnecessary. And if somebody can show you a better way, why not take it? And the other thing my season taught me, it taught me to trust God, to walk the walk. I talk all the time about having faith and God gonna work it out. It truly taught me what it looks like to really trust God, because when you don't understand everything, when that thing feels unclear, when it doesn't look like it's working, when you want to give up, y'all, faith carries you. Faith and trust in God carries you. So when I bring these people to you, understand this one thing. This is coming from experience. This is coming from what I walked through. This is coming from what I used in my own life. And this is for the people. I just want to help you get there faster and smarter and with less unnecessary setbacks. I also want to be real about something I've learned along the way. There was a time, y'all, when I was very, very open and transparent with my kids, because I felt like, they should know mommy saves, make money and whatever. I thought I could be very transparent, but while transparency is important, I had to grow and realize something. Someone once shared with me that children should not carry that kind of burden. Like, don't let them know your financial struggles and situations. And I didn't fully understand it at first, but when I actually experienced when I actually experienced them and their reaction, my perspective changed 100%. I remember there was a moment when I would make a purchase or, go out to eat or something or buy them something, and they'll say, "Mommy, no, we can just eat at home, Mommy. We know," like they were just on pins and needles every moment. Every time I spent or swiped a card, they were just panicky. And in that moment, it hit me. They were worried about something that they could not fix. Honestly, something they had no business being worried about. They're just kids. They were carrying something they were never meant to carry. And that showed me that kids need to be kids. So now I'm more mindful. I still teach them the value of money. I still teach them how to be disciplined in their spending and stewardship and responsibility, but I no longer place that weight of financial stress on them. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but I was doing it when I was saying, "Hey, we're on the budget," or "Hey, we can't do this or can't do that." And it's my responsibility to manage that, not them. It's their responsibility to grow, learn, and enjoy being children. Got all that out the way. And I hope that it blessed someone on today. I hope that it encouraged you. And I hope it shed some light on some things that you may be dealing with that you just feel like there was no hope. So let's get on to our wonderful guest here, the CEO of New Way Consulting. We have here Mr. Marcus Johnson and Miss Quenisha Johnson. So first, I want to thank you both so much for agreeing to come on the show. And I'm truly excited to have you here with me today. So first, I want you guys to just introduce yourselves and give them a little background history before we get into a few questions.
So my name is Quenisha Johnson. I'm the co-owner of New Way Credit Consulting alongside my husband, Marcus Johnson. We are based right here in Mississippi, and over the years, we've helped a lot of families through home buying process. We'll meet clients who want to get pre-approved for a home loan, but couldn't move forward with the process because of their credit situation. And that's what pushed us to create our business, New Way Credit Consulting, to not only help repair our clients' credit, but also educate them on how to understand how credit really works and to use it to reach their goals.
Gotcha. Okay, Mr. Marcus.
Yeah, my name is Marcus Johnson, and I'm the co-owner of New Way Consulting. And I've been in finance for over 20 years, and that's subprime financing, that's mortgage financing, sales financing. So to cover all the bases with that, but also I'm currently a real estate agent and a mortgage broker as well. And throughout the years, I've just seen so many people get turned down, and the frustration, it not only builds on them, but it builds on me and within me, because ultimately my goal is to help them, to get a home, to get approved for the loan, because that provides the way for their family to continue to grow. That provides a way for the economy to continue to grow. And, it's our blessing to be in a position to be able to help people. And that's really what we set out to do when we started New Way Consulting.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think it's very important that people know that, because understanding the background and knowing that you guys have background with helping people not only fix their credits, but getting into a home is very important as well. So my first question, I want to start with Ms. Quenisha. For someone listening to us right now who may not fully understand how credit works, can you break down in simple terms, like what is a credit score? Why does it play such a major role in someone's financial life?
Yeah, absolutely. So a credit score is basically a 3-digit number that tells lenders how risky it may be to lend to you. It's built on your past behavior, how often you pay on time, how much of your credit that you use, how long you've had credit, and the type of accounts that you have. That number matters because it follows you almost everywhere financially. It affects whether you are approved for a home loan or a car loan, what interest rate you pay, sometimes even whether a landlord will rent to you, or if a company will approve you for a phone or utility account. A higher score usually means that you pay less to borrow money, and a lower score can make it almost impossible for you to get approved for anything and make everything really expensive, even if you're a responsible person.
Yeah. Does it always mean like if I got an 800 score, does that always mean I could buy a house just because my score is 800?
No, it doesn't, because there's other factors that go into that, like your debt to income ratio. So, just because you have a high score, that also doesn't mean that you're always going to get approved, or lenders are going to approve you for certain types of funding.
Gotcha. I know a lot of people hear credit score all the time, but they don't really know like what credit score means. They just feel like, oh, I got this 800, and I went and tried to get a loan, and they told me I don't have enough credit. But see, they don't fully understand how it impacts buying a home, getting approved for loans, and their interest rates. So it's important to understand what credit score actually means versus just being a number out there. Is there anything else you kind of want to add to that?
Yeah, well, credit is an algorithm, and it's based on your utilization, the way you make your payments, if you carry a high balance on your credit cards, and things of that nature. So that really determines that final credit score on a month-to-month basis.
Gotcha. So Marcus, let me bring you in here. What are some of the biggest mistakes people make that damage their credit without even realizing they're doing it?
Well, a lot of it is just simple, common mistakes, but all of us don't grow up with with someone telling us, the essential things that we need to do to build our credit and to keep it in good standing. Paying bills late, that's one of the biggest things that people can do. That one day doesn't matter, but guess what? One day does matter, because when, the closing or the billing day closes out and you haven't made your payment, that missed payment, it stays on your credit file for a whole lot longer than one day. So one day does make a huge difference in that. A lot of people have, limits on their credit cards, but it's not to max it out. Staying below 30% utilization is ideal. And hey, look, let's all be realistic, and we'll all be adults here. And, hey, things happen, emergencies happen, and, we do have to pay things on time. But, when we get to a point and, they're maxed out, that ultimately hurts us when we're trying to make a larger purchase.
I agree.
Someone that's continuously, anytime you go to Target or you go to dealers or anywhere, they always going to ask you, do you want that card? You don't have to say yes. You do not have to say yes. That amounts to an inquiry. And when you get so many inquiries, it starts to hurt your score, because the banks or other lenders that may be evaluating your credit, they ultimately look at you as being a risk, because you're out there applying for credit everywhere. So if they give you a large amount of credit and then you still continue to overextend yourself, you have no way to make those payments.
Right. That's true. That's true. If I may, there was a moment in my life where I ain't never had no bad credit until a certain situation had happened. But I maxed out cards, y'all, to the max, and my score dropped because my limits, were so high. And when you would apply for other credit, you couldn't get it because they said you were over like that threshold. So even if your score is good, if your debt load is important. So that TJ Maxx card that they try to get you to take out every time you check out.
It comes with a discount up on the front end, but at the same time, on the back end, it comes with a negative discount too.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Miss Quenisha, I want to come back to you on this one. We have a lot of people that feel embarrassed or discouraged when their credit drops. Some people even feel like it's too late for them. What would you say to someone listening right now who feels like my situation is just gone too far? I can't fix it.
Yeah, so I'll tell them that your credit score is a snapshot. It's not your identity, and it's not your future. It can change, and it often happens faster than people think, especially when you have a plan and you have support. Here at New Way Consulting, we've seen people go from being scared to open their mail to getting approved for cars, homes, and even interest rates. We break it down step by step by cleaning up those negative items where we can, helping you build a positive history and creating better habits so that score goes up and stays up. There's no shame in starting over. The bravest move that someone can make is asking for help. And we're here to do that at New Way Consulting.
Okay. Mr. Marcus, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, it's just our mission. And, we like to empower people, and empowering someone is, allowing them to take control of their lives, take control of their credit, but also, teach habits, instill habits so that these things are long term and not short term. Because, the more that we can actually gain from learning about credit, learning how this game that we don't learn coming up. I remember being in college and credit card companies sitting there on campus waiting for us, and we had no idea what we were walking into. So we want to, be that person that's sitting there saying, hey, look, let me advise you the correct way instead of applying for all those credit cards, instead of applying for credit every time someone offers it to you. We want to turn rejection into something that becomes something far from what you are expecting.
Gotcha. That's good. That's good. If someone listening today wanted to start fixing their credit today, what are the first 3 things they should do immediately? What advice? What would you guys tell them to do?
Call New Way. That's it. And, from there, we'll be prepared to guide them and, hopefully put them on a road to, I don't want to say recovery, but at the same time, too, we do want them to recover to actually live the life that they're supposed to be living. Mistakes can be made up.
That's true. That's true. But listen, guys, I want to thank you. Was there anything else you wanted to add that I didn't ask all the questions? Because I know we got, probably got about 8 more minutes. So if y'all want to talk a little more, that'll work. But is there anything else you want to add before we close out?
Yes, absolutely. We would like for all of the listeners to follow us on social media. Again, my name is Quenisha Johnson. My husband's name is Marcus Johnson. We are on Facebook and Instagram, and our business page is New Way Credit Consulting on Facebook. So please give us a follow.
I just want to thank both of you for coming on the show today and sharing your knowledge with our listeners, because credit is one of those topics that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. But the truth is, it's the most important part, y'all, of your financial life. Period. Because without credit, you can't. I'm sorry, it ain't gonna happen. We need credit just like we need money, but you have to understand how all of it works and how all of it goes together. So for anyone listening today, if you're feeling discouraged, you feeling like there's no way, or you just, I'm sorry, y'all, but hold on, because just last year, Marcus and Quenisha, I said it earlier in my show, just last year, y'all, I was in a place I just felt like there was no return. So if you're out there and you're feeling that way, I want you to know there is light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to call New Way, okay? Call New Way Consulting. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook. Text me. I'll text you the number. And do y'all want to give your number out real quick for them?
Absolutely. We can be reached at 601-433-2173. That's our business line.
Okay. One more time, 601-433-2173. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave y'all with this. Just always remember that your current situation does not define your future. Life happens. We all go through seasons. You lose jobs. Things change. And sometimes we just make mistakes or just do dumb things. Let's just be honest. Sometimes things happen that are completely out of our control, but none of that means that your story is over. You can always rebuild your credit. Your finances can be restored, and the opportunity will come again. I am a living example of that. Believe, trust, and believe. Everything we talk about on this show is real. And there are moments when I felt like everything was closing in, but God reminded me that even when we cannot see a way forward, He is still working behind the scenes. And sometimes that very thing that feels like a setback is actually setting you up for wisdom, discipline, and a stronger future. What matters most is that you take action. Take it today. Learn the process. Ask the questions. Surround yourself with the right people. And most importantly, don't give up on yourself, because when you get your credit together, the doors will begin to open. You can buy those properties you want. You can start that business you want. You can build generational wealth, and you can truly begin to own a piece of America. So if you're listening today and you feel stuck, I want you to remember this. Your next chapter can start today. All it takes is knowledge, discipline, and courage to move forward. Thank you again, Marcus and Quenisha, and thank you to everyone listening to Life, Finance, and Real Estate with Kirby the Realtor. Remember this. When you understand how money works, you begin to move differently in life. See you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to Life, Finance, and Real Estate with Kirby the Realtor. You can catch us every Thursday at 12 p.m. on 92.1 WJMG, 93.1 WGDQ, and also you can listen live at 921WJMG.com or 931WGDQ.com. If you happen to miss the live recording, don't fret, we'll replay it at 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you once again for listening to Life, Finance, and Real Estate.
Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can sit and wait around. You can make it happen. I've been walking in the Spirit. Ain't no way around it. And it's up. Yeah. And it's up. Yeah. Pedal to the metal, headed to the top. Swerving around the block, this be getting hot. It's so hot. The Holy got a purpose, I can't ever stop. I got Lamborghini mercy on me. I'm outside with the cool. Look at that, deja vu. Not with the trap, but I'm still